Hi everyone, ask and you shall receive. I know you guys have been asking for us to review Once Upon a Time for quite a while. And while I wasn't able to convince Americ to review with me, I will be reviewing it this season. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Once Upon a Time Season 6, Episode 1, The Savior. First, some quick thoughts. So we jump right into the action of this season. Like, they don't waste any time. It's like Savior mythology, Untold Story, Mr. Hyde, Belle, just everything, which I loved. We also get a familiar face back. Archie and Pongo are back for like a second. I almost wish they had spent a little more time there, but you know, obviously there's a lot of things we need to cover, so you don't have time to spend too much time on them, but it was nice to see them. I also really loved, and I guess it's sort of an Easter egg, when Rumpelstiltskin played the Beauty and the Beast theme song when he was dancing with Belle. I was like, oh. But now let's jump into some of the big moments of the episode, starting with Regina, Zelena, and the Evil Queen. First of all, I'm really happy that we saw Regina deal with Robin's death a little bit this episode. I mean, I don't need it to last the whole season, but you know, it's nice that they acknowledge the fact that, hey, he's gone and, you know, she really loved him and she can't just like suddenly be okay with him being gone. And on top of that, I like that he was also a way for her to find some hope, and that she decides not to believe what Hades told her, that, you know, maybe Robin's soul isn't really gone. Henry made a big deal out of it. She made a big deal out of saying, I think, you know, he's better. Sort of leaves the door open for him to come back, possibly one day. Sort of like the way Bellfire sometimes makes a comeback. We also got, I think, an important moment between Zelena and Regina, when Regina admitted that she sort of blames Zelena for Robin's death, and on the flip side, Zelena kind of shared that, hey, you took away the part of you that was most like me. Which now leads me to think, especially after the scene between Zelena and the Evil Queen at the end, that these two are probably gonna, you know, team up, or there's gonna be some sort of connection there, because I think the Evil Queen speaks to a part of Zelena that's still there. Moving on to Belle, Rumpelstiltskin, and Morpheus. Oh my god. I love that part so much. There were so many levels that got me excited. I mean, first of all, we go into a dream, Belle's dream. We get to relive a little bit of the beginning of the love story between Belle and Rumpelstiltskin, and it kind of made me want to go back and rewatch those episodes, because I was like, oh, those were really good episodes. I want to rewatch them now. Of course, this is a different situation, so it didn't end up, you know, quite the way we expected it to, which leads me to Morpheus. First of all, Morpheus, the Greek god of dreams, was already a cool thing to have. But then it's like, oh wait, he's really Belle and Rumpelstiltskin's son pretending to be Morpheus in order to test Belle to see if she would go back to Rumpelstiltskin before he wakes her up. What? Did not see that coming. How did I not see that coming? Because Once Upon a Time does that a lot. But I just never see it coming. I just thought he was, you know, Morpheus. That was an interesting twist, to say the least. And I'm kind of glad that Belle didn't let herself be swayed again and lied to, and she was like, no, first of all, no. And then second of all, now that our son is against you, I'm really not gonna go back with you. I don't think Rumpelstiltskin is ready to give up yet. But looks like Belle has pretty much made her decision. Also, that makes me wonder if we'll see their grown-up son again at some point, and whether or not his name is Morpheus. What do you guys think? You think we'll see him again this season? I'm hoping. Moving on to the Untold Stories. Well, we still don't know much about them, except that their stories are not done yet. We know that according to Mr. Hyde, there's nothing more dangerous than an untold story, and the people who don't want them told. In Mr. Hyde's statement, he says the people who don't want them told. Now, does that always have to be the main protagonist? Could it be the villain that doesn't want the story to end because he gets defeated? I mean, there's so many levels to this that I'm really, really looking forward to delving into who those untold stories are, at which point they stop, how do they stop, who stops them? So many questions. If you have any theories about that, I'd love to hear them. Let me know in the comments. And also, Emma Regina's magic has no effect on Mr. Hyde, which now makes me wonder if that's the same for all the Untold Stories, which could be a big problem. Mr. Hyde, apparently his work is in Storybrooke, but my question is why? Why are you in Storybrooke? What do you want? Why do you know so much about Emma? What's the whole deal here? I do like him as a character though, but I'm just very nervous about his whole agenda. Moving on to the saviors. In previous seasons, I think we all assumed that Emma was the savior, the only one. There weren't any others, except there are other saviors apparently. This season, we're going to be delving into the mythology of saviors, and we already got quite a few hints about their very, very sad destiny. We not only met another savior, Aladdin, who seems to be in very bad shape. And according to Jafar, this is what happens to savior eventually. They fall apart and they never have a happy ending. Which of course then leads to question of, is this what's going to happen to Emma? And how did he get like that in the first place? Let's talk about Emma, because this was a pretty big episode for her. First of all, I have to talk about the little Captain Swan moment that we had, which I was like, yes, but it's so short. Can we have just give us a little more? A little more happiness would be nice, because then we're already into the hiding things going bad. I mean, you know, just give us just a moment of happiness. Is that too much to ask? I do love that Hook noticed that something was wrong with Emma. Unfortunately, she just, you know, I'm not really happy that she decided not to share with him that something was wrong. I'm like, come on, Emma. If this is true love, I feel like you should share, you know? Emma seems to be in not so great a shape. She's starting to have those visions of her fighting with a hooded figure that we don't know who it is, but could possibly be the villain that brings her down. And also, of course, with everything that we're learning about saviors, you're like, is this the path that she's on? Is it going to be the end of Emma, the end of her journey as a savior? Is that how it all ends? Now, of course, if I've learned anything about TV visions, is that they usually don't show the whole story. So you're only seeing like a little bit of it, and it's not usually what you think it is. So even though we did see her getting sort of stabbed in the gut, I'm guessing there's more to it than that. So even though this will happen no matter what, I think there's something either before or after that we don't know to put it into context that will most likely save Emma. As for what Mr. Hyde said about saviors always having villains that bring them down, of course, we're thinking the hooded figure could be Emma's villain, but even if it is her villain, is it possible for a savior to defeat them? Just because there hasn't been a savior that has defeated their villain doesn't mean that it's impossible. And it's very likely that Emma will defeat her villain and possibly help Aladdin defeat his villain, Jafar. That's lots of exciting things. I mean, that's all I have for now for this episode. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Are you excited to find out more about the savior, about Morpheus? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe because I'll be reviewing Once Upon a Time every week. I'll also put a link in the description to all our previous Once Upon a Time videos in case you want to check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Seriously, so many questions this season. I mean, I'm excited because I always have a hard time figuring out where things go in Once Upon a Time because they always have like really cool twists, but oh, so exciting. So many places to go this season. Can't wait.